Thank you. John Nicolson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Could I ask, why do you think TalkTalk is, or appears to be, so especially vulnerable to this? Because however we look at this, there have been a number of very serious breaches which has caused TalkTalk to develop the bad reputation that it has. Why do you think that's happened to your company in particular?
I'm afraid I don't think that we are unique or unusual in being victims of cybercrime.
You've said that a number of times, but you appear to have had more than most.
I don't think that that's true. I think, as I say...
You think other big companies have had 3 serious breaches in the last year?
Well, I say we've had 1 serious breach on our systems.
I know, I feel we're sort of dancing slightly on the head of a pin there, because the way you're defining the breaches. So 3 separate breaches that have affected your customers who've signed up for you.
Okay.
So you have to take responsibility, even if other people, even if you would argue that you're indirectly responsible, the relationship with that these customers have is with you.
No, that's fair. I guess what I'm actually alluding to is that because telecoms companies are the only companies that have an obligation to report these data breaches, and we took a decision on the 22nd of October to warn all of our customers about the attack that we had just experienced. We have been much more public than I think many other organisations have been. Maybe they didn't need to be, but the fact that the PwC report to BIS says that 9 out of 10 major companies have had a successful attack in the last 12 months, and that GCHQ tell us they're dealing with 200 live incidents each month, that certainly doesn't reflect what all of us as consumers would see in terms of communication from the companies that we deal with. There aren't that many in the public domain.
I think other members of the committee will probably return to the issue of where the weaknesses are, but can I focus for a moment or two on the way that you deal with the public in particular? Yes, because you've just said in that last answer that you warn members of the public, your customers, very quickly. But David Westwood, who was a victim of the 2014 data loss scam, has said the following: "My one big issue with TalkTalk is that they informed the ICO on the 10th of November 2015 of the data loss. However, it was not until the 27th of February that they informed me as a customer. If I and many others had been informed officially by letter, then we would have been wise to the scam and not fallen victim." Why was there such a big gap, a 17-day gap, between you writing to the ICO and you writing to your customers?
And this is, sorry, you said 2015, but I think this, you meant
sorry,
2014.
Did I say that? 2014.
Okay, just to make sure. It's one of the areas, and maybe it would be appropriate to take it up later on in this hearing in terms of the reporting requirements. But one of the things that we have been learning, being entirely honest, over the course of the last 12 months is the importance of communicating very quickly with customers. If I look back, I know that we complied completely with all of our reporting requirements to the ICO and our legal requirements in terms of reporting to customers regarding those scam calls last year, but actually in retrospect I would have communicated it sooner, which is one of the reasons why we did what we did on the 22nd of October. There is no legal obligation for us to do that, but I think that
I don't think your customers want to know about your legal obligations. I think they want to I think they want to know about the effect that your failure to inform them had on them. So we look at that was the 10th of November you wrote to the ICO, 27th of February. So that's a long gap between your letter to the ICO and your letter to customers. You can understand why your customers will be enraged because they were unable to protect themselves.
I do understand the concern and worry that all of this has caused our customers.
Well, more than concern and worry, financial loss.
I would like to point out that we are literally the only UK telecoms company that provides nuisance calling features, privacy features for free. We're the only telecoms company that has proactively written to our customers warning them of these scams, and yet we are definitely not the only telecoms company whose customers are being called by these scammers. One of the things we've seen over the course of the last couple of months is, and as I mentioned, Mr. Chairman, the amount of personal data that is available, not in the dark web, but actually in the light, freely available in the World Wide Web, is quite extraordinary. I don't know if the committee has ever looked at a website called www.pastebin.com. On it, if you search for literally any consumer brand in the UK, you will find consumer personal data, because that's where the hackers post it. And so I absolutely agree that all of us need to do more of this, more on this. I think what you can see from TalkTalk's experience over the course of the last 12 months is that we've been doing more and more to communicate directly, to provide the tools for customers to keep them safe and to do more ourselves.
So just so we've got it on the record, you think you got this wrong and you're sorry for customers like Mr. Westwood who had to wait that length of time between you writing to the ICO and you writing to him.
No, let me be clear what I meant. I think we learned. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a political. That's one of these politicians' answers. I'm sure you did learn, of course. How could you not learn? It'd be tragic if you hadn't. It's so obvious what the lesson was. But are you sorry? And are you putting that now on the record that you're sorry for the lengthy delay that has adversely affected this customer and so many others?
I said I'm sorry for the concern and the.
He's not concerned. It's stronger than concern. He suffered a financial loss.
Well, as any of your constituents who've suffered a direct financial loss as a consequence of any of these criminal attacks, I'd be very keen to hear from directly. And we've been very clear on the record already that customers.
You got it wrong.
No, I didn't say that. I said we've learned. I think that's human.
But how could you not acknowledge that you got it wrong when there was such a huge delay? If I was running a company and I realised there'd been a large data breach like this, my first thought would be, how can I protect people? How can I protect my customers? I must write to them all quickly.
As indeed,
it's an obvious thing to do.
As indeed was ours. So I don't apologise for how we've acted.
So I don't
apologise for having learnt. I do apologise.
Of course you're not going to apologise for having learned. It's obvious you wouldn't apologise for learning. That would be a bizarre apology to issue. But you waited from the 10th of November 2014 until the 27th of February. By any objective standards, that was an extraordinary delay. So let's move on. You're refusing to apologise for that. A lot of people who've written to us have said to us that you're simply not looking after them, and it makes them very cross with you as a company. You're not compensating them. Why are you not issuing adequate compensation?
Well, I fully appreciate that customers are worried and frustrated and cross, and many of them contact me directly to express those emotions.
And they've lost money?
I said anyone who has directly lost money as a direct consequence of this criminal attack, we absolutely wish to talk to them and deal with that on a case-by-case basis.
And you will compensate them?
I am today not aware of anyone who has directly lost money as a result of the criminal attack. So I'd be very willing to hear from people who think they have been. And so let me talk through.
In that case, we will invite people to write to us and to write to you as well,
yes,
who have directly lost money, and we can have your assurance, yes, that they will be compensated, yes, if they have lost money.
If they've directly lost money as a result of this criminal attack, I would like to look at that on a case-by-case
I'm sure
basis.
They'll find that very reassuring. And can you tell me in addition, will they, because a number of people have said to us that they've had the following difficulty. Because their insurance companies think that TalkTalk has been negligent, they're not getting compensation from their insurance companies. And so therefore they find themselves in the position their insurance companies say it's TalkTalk's fault, and TalkTalk says it's not our fault. And as so often in these cases, the poor consumer is lost in the middle, just listening to lots of expressions of concern and not getting any cash back into their bank account.
I think in this case there is a process to make sure that the customers get fair redress, which is the Ombudsman. So if you look at, there are a number of cases over the course of the last 12 months regarding instances where customers have been victims of these very professional scammers, which have gone to the Telecoms Ombudsman to adjudicate on where the harm is, where the fault lay, and where the compensation should be. So actually, again, for your customers who feel that they are not getting fair redress from either their bank or their insurance company or their telecoms provider, that is exactly what the Ombudsman is there to do and has done.
And can they escape from the contract with you if they found themselves to be victims of one of your data breach losses?
If they've lost money as a direct consequence of the attack, then yes, they can leave their
and
contract.
what about something different? If they simply say, you know what, I'm just too worried now about TalkTalk. I'd like to get out of my contract because I don't trust them. Are you going to let them out?
In that case, the honest answer is no.
No, so you're going to keep them trapped in the contract
No.
even if they don't trust you?
No, let me describe what we are doing for those customers. So for all of our customers, if we just put this into context, 156,959 customers were affected by the attack on the 21st of October. So less than 4% of our customer base. For 100% of our customer base, we have offered all customers free credit monitoring, because of all the data that was stolen by these criminals, none of it on its own enables a criminal to steal from you. They can try and set up a credit card in your name, so credit monitoring can prevent that. We're providing free credit monitoring to all of our customers. We offer, as I said, we're the only telecoms company that offers free nuisance calling features for all of our customers, free security packages. And we've offered all of our customers the opportunity to upgrade for free on us. So 96% of customers who've been completely unaffected by the attack, we've offered them a gesture of goodwill. And I have to say it's been extremely humbling, the number of customers who've written to me, emailed me directly to say thank you. Thank you for being so honest, thank you for being so upfront, and thank you for your gesture of goodwill.
Well, that's very moving. But I imagine, however, that a lot of the customers who haven't written humbly to thank you will probably feel that it's unfair that they cannot escape if they no longer trust your company. And what you're saying is they can escape only if they've shown that they've suffered a financial loss, but if they simply have lost trust in you now, they can't.
They can leave their contract at any time, but clearly there are some consequences to that.
With
but
financial
people are
cost.
not trapped.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for that. Can I just very